Continue, let's talk about the algorithm we want to use for our DVC schedule. So like earlier I showed you, the first part is our duplication check. So I put the block here. So then the second one, you will have your subject code to add the information. So let's continue to talk about the duplicate check. So like earlier we say, now since we know we may need more stack memory we need. So that's why we decide to have our non-duplicate classes using the dynamic array. So since the data we want to save is the class code, that means term plus section. So the data type in the array will be string. The other reason we're using a dynamic array is we don't know how many sections we want to do. So that's why we want the array can be flexible to adjust the capacity. So we just start from 100. So then they will continue to grow. So then you will see the first thing is, after we parsing the data, how should we do the duplicate check? So then one thing is, after you do the duplicate check, right? So your duplicate check is the new line you read, your class code. You want to compare each element in your non-duplicate class array. So that's why here you will see if they find out they have that duplicate class code. So then you see that's true, right? So your duplicate check, sorry, this one should be false. So if you have that duplicate check, you find that the class code already exists in the non-duplicate class array. That's why here, if that's true, right? So actually, if that's true, it's a duplicate line. So then here, actually, we just skip that line. We will go back to our big while loop. Actually, here, be careful. Here, actually, when you're parsing the line, remember, you open the file, you have a big while loop. All our logic here, they are inside the big while loop. So this while loop, each time, each iteration, we read one line. So after we got the class code, we do the duplicate check. So from this array, if we find the class code is already exist, so then you just find the duplicate actually is true. So then you will have go back to the beginning of the while loop. So on the other hand, you need to continue. Right, so that's duplicate. But if not duplicate, that means when I check this new class code, right, from my non-duplicate classes, they didn't have this one. Good, so if not duplicate, then you need to try to add this new class code into this non-duplicate array. So then after you add that, right, so then continue. Since you have this one is not duplicate, right, so then the second part we need to do is we need to add this section, the subject code, also into our subject code object. So this part I will talk about later. So let's focus on here first. So now we just see how should we do the duplicate check. So that's what we see here. So like earlier we say, we need to create our non-duplicate classes array. So one thing is here, after we done, right, so then we will do, you see each line, we do the parsing. So while we read line by line, right, okay, so then you're parsing, then after you have turn section course, and you have subject code. So now we need to do our duplicate check. Good. So your duplicate check, actually you will focus on which array? This array. That's our duplicate check array. So that's why you see here, I already start building this array. So this array, I start building that. Okay, so that's why here, after I parsing each line, so now I need to check. Now the current line I try to read. So this line, the class code, are they existing in this array? How to check? Right, so of course, we need to have a for loop, right? So you need to have a for loop for I equal to 0. Okay, so I less than what? So here I need to ask you to think about what the condition is. So I plus plus. Good. So you know here, remember earlier I showed you, this array is save all the non-duplicate classes. So that's why now when I'm parsing each line, so now I have a new class code. So this class code is, I need to check this class code exists in our array or not. So that's our searching, right? So our searching is, we need to see for the for loop. Okay, so we're searching for if this one, if, so actually it's each line. If each array, I will check for the I, if they are equal to, which one? Yeah, equal to our class. So if now I go to the duplicate check, I need to have a for loop, right? So then you see your for loop, I need to ask you what is the condition later. Okay, but this one now, you see. So if our non-duplicate class is this one, I equal to the class code. So then what's that mean? Actually, this one means you are duplicate. So that's why here we need to know this one is duplicate. So that's why here duplicate find. So then we need to break from our for loop. Right, so if you find the match, actually you break from the for loop. So that's why our for loop finish. So on the other hand, that's mean if I for loop, I continue to finish, then I didn't find that. That's mean I reach to the end, right? Good, so that's why here I is very important. If I less than the condition here, that's mean here I just break from the for loop. So that's why here actually that's a duplicate. So then if not, so then I should be equal to the condition we have. So that's why I need to know the I information. So that's why it's better we have the int I is outside. We declare outside. So then after that, we can know the index for the I is we find the duplicate or not. Okay. So, but one thing is, if I didn't find a duplicate, what should I do? But before that, I want to ask you, for you think, what is the condition when I'm searching for the loop? It's capacity? Okay, so you need to be careful. Before, when we have the array for loop, we always have the capacity. But the capacity, that's mean you have all the data in there. So that's why we want to save, we want to assign the initial value, or we want to do the searching because every data in the array count. But this one we need to be careful. This condition shouldn't be the capacity. The condition should be how many non-duplicated course class code. So actually the condition for this question mark should be the condition how many class code, non-duplicated class code exist. So that's why here, earlier besides I give you the non-duplicate array create. And also you see here I have couple variable defined. The first one, count, that is total how many line. Second, duplicates. So total how many duplicates record. So then the next one I want to show you is we call the class index. So the class index actually is the index for the non-duplicate classes. We start from 0. And also this one is what? This one actually is when we do the searching condition. That's our boundary. Okay, why? Because one thing is need to be careful. This one we're not using the array capacity. Because now, for example, your array capacity is 100. But so far, I only save 5 non-duplicate section. So that's why I only need to search the first 5. I don't need to search the whole thing. So on the other hand, this class's index is very important is after we finish the for loop when we do the searching, right? Okay, so now we know. Okay, so if we find that I finish, so we break. That means we find the match. Okay, so that's why here we need to do is if the I equal to the class code, the class index. That's mean here is what? Okay, so this one actually mean they finish this whole for loop, but they cannot find the duplicate. So on the other hand it is not a duplicate. If I equal to the class index, that means it's not the duplicate. So that's why the new class index, I need to assign equal to the class code we read. Okay, so this one actually is non-duplicate array. And also this class index is very important because that tells us so far how many non-duplicate section. So then using this number, actually this one also the new location for the class code I need to add in. So after I assign, I increment that. Okay, so and of course, if I equal to the class code, that means I finished the previous for loop. I didn't find the match. On the other hand, else is what? The else that's mean is a duplicate. So if that duplicates, one thing is our duplicates, we need to increment by 1. Okay, and we continue. Continue for what? Continue this iteration in the while loop, this line we finish. Because that's a duplicate, I don't need to do anything. I need to skip to add that to the new subject code. I need to skip that one to add this to non-duplicate class. Okay, so that's our duplication check. So again, back to here. So that's show you the whole why I have those variable defined. So be careful. When I say read a line, actually the whole thing is in the while loop. In the while loop, after I open a text file, I read line by line. So the first thing I parse in the data. So the parsing the data, I have the class code. So I need to do a duplicate check. So this duplicate check, actually I save in the non-duplicate classes array. So this array data type is string. So when I do the duplicate check, I need to go through the for loop for this array. You see currently this array capacity is 100. Right, I need to search for this whole array, right? But this whole array I need to using the for loop. But one thing is be careful. When I do the duplicate check, my for loop, actually my condition is important. This condition before when we implement the header file, we always make the capacity. But now this one is not. This one actually we have another variable we call the class index. So the class index is what? The class index actually is for the non-duplicate array. This one we start from 0. So start from 0, that means so far I have no elements in the non-duplicate classes. So then one thing is if I find any non-duplicate class code, I need to add into my array. So this number is the location where the new section need to add into the non-duplicate class. And also this number is very important, is our condition, our boundary, how many times I need to check the class code compared from the array. So that's why, right, if in the for loop I find the match class code, I should break. So after I break, I can check. If I have two situations, I finish the for loop, right? They either break or they finish the for loop. If they finish the for loop, that means good is non-duplicate. So if that's non-duplicate, I add this class code to the non-duplicate class. And I increment by 1. So now the same thing. If they finish the for loop, but I not equal to the class index, that means they are duplicates. So I need to increment my duplicates counter, then I continue. So that's why in this code block, actually we finish this part, the green part. So then we have those variables need to define.